Sports Professor Rick Horrow, Beyond the Scoreboard, serious show that doesn't take itself too seriously, but talks about the trillion-dollar business of sports. A lot to do. Women's Final Four, men's Final Four, Masters, and most important maybe to us, the Power 100 athlete ranking, Horrow Sports and MVP Index. We've done it for 6th year, continues to generate discussion, command attention, an invaluable tool to evaluate an athlete's brand, and it focuses social media, reaches, likes, all comprising 50% score. The other 50% is the athlete's power on-field attribute, and it's the first study ever to deal with both on-field and off-field. We've done it for the past 6 years. Not surprisingly, 3rd year in a row, LeBron James, number 1. Stephen Curry jumps the highest of anybody at number 2. Novak Djokovic, Serena Williams, 3 and 4. Kevin Durant, 5. Patrick Kane, with all his troubles this year anyway, and beginning of last year's season, 6. Antonio Brown, 7. Cam Newton, 8. Rory McIlroy, 9. James Harden, 10. The full list is on horrowsports.com, at Rick Horrow, and a whole bunch of other places, including Reuters, the New York Times. The bottom line as well, by sports, 24 of the top 100 basketball players, 20 football, 14 tennis, 13 baseball, 10 golf. The other bottom line is when you take a look at the numbers, you have special, significant, how about Olympics? Well, Michael Phelps and soccer players will have a special May edition to see where they are as far as their valuation is concerned. The football quarterbacks, Aaron Rodgers, 63, Drew Brees, 56, Tom Brady, 12, all were in the top 5 or 10 over the last years. It's not that they've gone down as much on the field. It's that they don't tweet as prolifically as some of these other folks. It is a social media world with social media implications. We'll have more of the Power 100 through the show and subsequent shows, but that's where we are with those stats. This week's show, an interesting women's edition. Missy Franklin, Olympic gold medalist, Kelly McBride, definitive sports ethicist, and Sue Bird, UConn, Olympics, and otherwise. All packed into Beyond the Scoreboard. Be back in a minute.
Tired of calls, levies, and liens from the IRS or hiring others who don't get the job done? Call Wall & Associates and you'll never talk to the IRS again. The IRS has a program to eliminate tax debt, and Wall & Associates professionals are trained to maximize its benefits for you. You always speak with a live person with real support and real knowledge. We've helped thousands of taxpayers like you settle their tax debt with the IRS for a fraction of what they owe. We solve tax problems. Call Wall & Associates now, 800-480-5708. We have the professionals who know how to solve tax problems. If you owe money to the IRS, your tax problems are not going away by themselves, and the passage of time will only make matters worse. Act now, before it's too late. Call Wall & Associates right now to speak to a professional tax relief agent. Call 800-480-5708. That's 800-480-5708. Again, 800-480-5708.
Don't complain about your cable bill going up and up and up. Do something about it. Grab a pencil and jot down this special number.
Call 877-499-MY-TV.
The more cable TV rates go up, the better digital satellite TV looks. So cancel the cable and get more of your favorite channels in 100% digital quality for less money.
Call 877-499-MY-TV.
Right now to sign up for packages starting as low as $24.99, and there's no equipment to buy. You get free HD TV upgrade, a free DVR upgrade, and free professional installation. You control what you watch when you watch it. Record your favorite shows. Pause and rewind live TV. Even skip the commercials. Watch local channels too. At just $24.99, what are you waiting for? Pull out your major credit or debit card.
Call 877-499-MY-TV. That's 877-499-MY-TV.
Cancel the cable, cut costs, and get more.
Call now, 877-499-MY-TV. That's 877-499-MY-TV. Looking to get away this winter? Visit the charming bayside town of Tiburon, located just minutes from San Francisco. The Lodge at Tiburon is steps from the ferry docks and nestled among Tiburon's upscale boutiques, enticing cafes, and unique galleries. Dine at award-winning Tiburon Tavern, serving innovative dishes prepared with ingredients grown in our very own garden. Join us at the Lodge at Tiburon and create long-lasting memories. Winter specials from $159 a night. Call 1-877-614-6068 or go to lodgeattiburon.com.
iHeartRadio loves music, so let's count the ways. Over 20 million songs from 800,000 artists, all free. And like Pandora, you can create your own custom station from any of those 800,000 artists. Just tell us an artist or even a song that you like, and we'll build a custom playlist for you. Add to that thousands of the best live radio stations, and you'll never have to worry about finding the perfect song for your commute, mood, or party. Millions of songs, thousands of stations, one free app. iHeartRadio is that easy. Download our iHeartRadio app today or listen online at iHeartRadio.com.
I'm the sports professor Rick Horrow with Beyond the Scoreboard, the serious show that doesn't take itself too seriously. Women's edition, women in sports, all different types of occupations. Missy Franklin, Olympic gold medalist of significant repute in the last Olympics, world record holder in multiple events, getting ready for Rio. By the way, she's only 20 and commands a substantial series of endorsements. Talking about business and life, Missy Franklin.
Missy, thank you so much for smiling yet again to all of us.
Absolutely. It's my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
So 2 years leading Cal to the NCAA swimming championship. Was it always the plan to swim at college for 2 years and then turn pro, or did it just feel right?
It was. That was always the plan. You know, after London, I really had to sit down with the important people in my life, mainly my family, and kind of discuss, okay, things have changed now. Do I still want to swim in college? And that answer was absolutely yes. But we also realized looking forward that if I did swim all 4 years, that would mean going through 2 Olympics as an amateur. And we decided that the best thing for me and best thing looking forward toward the future was for me to swim 2 years in college, still get that experience, but then turn professional right before Rio. So I have that experience as a professional athlete.
So right after London, there were a lot of people second-guessing that don't mean anything, that said you could have turned pro earlier. Who's the numbers cruncher in your decision-making family? Did you look at the balance sheet and say, here's what it could have been, here's what it could have been? How do you make the decision?
You know, it was really hard. I like to think that I'm a really big people pleaser, and so making a decision that a lot of people didn't agree with was really, really hard for me. And that was kind of the first time I've really ever had to do something like that. But my family and my friends were so unbelievably supportive, and I think they knew that this is what I wanted, and this was really what I knew was going to be best for me and what I was going to get the most out of, and they trusted me to know myself best, and we made that decision and never looked back.
I assume you aced your first 2 years at Cal. Do you have plans to graduate?
I do, absolutely. So I'm going to take a little bit of time off school now.
A little bit of time, so next Tuesday?
So next Tuesday I get 1 day off, which will be great. But I'll take some time off, which is awesome. I've never had that kind of freedom before with training, so swimming will really be my priority. But as soon as Rio is over, if I'm able to compete there, I'll probably take another semester off and then head back and finish up and get my degree.
Are you good at handling money? Because you're going to have a lot of it.
I got my personal budget. We'll see how it goes.
Well, Michaela Schifrin, when she did an interview with us after the gold, she said that her parents kind of made her or asked her take a personal finance course. Are you kind of involved in how the numbers work and all of that, or you leave it to somebody else?
I actually have, no. You know, I've kind of heard some horror stories, unfortunately, with athletes and just not really knowing what's going on. And I just want to be very much in the know of what's happening, how things are happening financially, what I can do to best manage everything that's going on. And so it was really fun. I took a course in school last semester, actually, and learned all about kind of investing and things like that. And my dad has been amazing at really keeping me in the loop. And even at 20 years old, kind of treating me as this, you're in charge. This is going to be your income that's coming in, and you need to know how to handle it. And I'm really excited about that.
Now that you're a professional, will we see a boatload of sponsors before Rio, or are you going to wait till after Rio? What's your strategy on all that?
No, so I think, you know, moving forward, there's a couple of really important ones that we want to nail first that we're looking at. But in the long run, we kind of use the analogy that, you know, I don't want to be someone that has her foot in so many different places. You know, I really want to look at things that are really, really important to me and things that I'm really passionate about and be able to fully commit to those, because I'd rather be 100% committed to a smaller number of endorsements of companies than not being able to give 100% of my time to a lot that I wouldn't be able to do that for.
Another important business point you made, which I think is incredibly important, is that you'll shy away from, or you don't like the companies or people who will sexualize athletes. Mm-hmm. So that's important for your brand. What do you think the brand of Missy Franklin is, though?
You know, I'm so excited. I think one of the things that hopefully I've been able to portray really well is I am myself. I'm Missy, and what you see is what you get. And so I'm going to want to be with companies that, you know, really represent what I believe in and things that I'm proud to be represented by. And so that the philanthropic side of it is a huge part for me, and giving back and being a part of companies that are about changing the world and making it a better place and inspiring others.
Our friends at MVP Index tell us that Missy Franklin is on a social media roll. She's been steadily adding followers on Instagram since the beginning of the year, over 11,000 in the past 4 months. And as of June, she has 548,000 followers between Instagram and Twitter. Back with Missy Franklin and Beyond the Medals. So social media, important to you. You've seen the numbers about how you're basically going to redefine social media as we know it and change the world. But it's a different kind of thing now that you are a potential corporate spokesperson. How do you approach the whole world of social media?
Yeah, so for me, I think one of the most amazing things about social media is how it allows me to interact with my fans and other athletes and other celebrities as well. I think it's amazing that we live in a world where it's so easy to reach out to someone who you look up to or someone who inspires you. And the fact that, you know, I get to go through my Twitter every day and my Instagram and read all these amazing comments from people who support me, like that just means the world for me. And I went through a recent detox, kind of just took 3 weeks off. I was going through finals, and I realized I was spending so much time every single day on social media. And so now I'm kind of working through the balance of I'm back on, and I want to be really present, but also still being able to go on social media and keeping people updated and, you know, just letting them learn more about me too.
Well, balance is really important because this ain't your first rodeo, and you're training and you understand how important training is. You're going to have sponsor responsibilities, professional responsibilities. You have to figure out how to put it all in perspective. How do you approach the balance as you train for Rio?
It's going to be new for me, which is really exciting. But again, I don't really know. It's going to be something that you just kind of figure it out as you go along. And I think, you know, going into that idea of sponsorships and endorsements, it's going to be really fun to use social media as a way to show people what I've partnered with and what I'm a part of now, and being really passionate about that and showing them the really cool things that I'm involved with. But also, you know, taking the time out to also just say hi or post an inspirational quote and make sure it's not all about the marketing side of it, but that they're still really seeing me in all my social media as well.
So segue back to 2012 and going into London, Michael Phelps, the focus mostly was on him and his expectations, his recognitions. He can tell you whether that helped or hurt him. A lot of focus on you going to 16. Do you feel the pressure?
You know, I actually had a really incredible conversation with Michael's coach, Bob Bowman, and he kind of sat me down and he was like, there's two ways that you can look at outside expectations. You can look at it as pressure and all these people expecting you to do these amazing things, or you can look at it as support, as all these people believing that you can do these amazing things. And for me, that second way definitely resonates. You know, I'm so honored that so many people have so much faith in me kind of going into this next chapter of my life, and I really hope that I can prove them right.
The thought of you taking the positive road on something is not shocking to anybody. That's clearly not surprising. We've heard some conversations earlier everywhere about Katie Ledecky, a rivalry or not rivalry. I know she's a friend. From a business perspective, probably good for the sport that you two are in it together.
Absolutely, 100%. It's been so special. London was amazing for women in sports in general, for having more women than men on the Olympic team for the first time, for the women's swimmers to have done so well. The men's swimmers obviously did amazing as well. But for Katie and I to really be up there, and I think both of us being so passionate about being women in sports and to both love what we do and hopefully have the chance to show that. It's really special that we get to do it together and that I get to do it with one of my great friends.
Well, your great friend has now chosen Stanford. Their basketball team much better than yours. Your football team bordering on pathetic. How are you going to deal with that?
You know, the Stanford-Cal rivalry was, I think, probably one of the greatest college experiences. You know, I'm so proud of her for making the decision that was best for her. But, of course, I think it's, you know, and they have an amazing program, too.
Amazing program, but you're smarter than to wear a Golden Bears jersey on Stanford's campuses now, I think, is probably the right answer. U.S. swimming is in a great position right now, and it's getting even better. it's not an obligation, but how do you feel about giving back to U.S. Swimming from a business perspective, and how important it is to you?
It's incredibly important to me. USA Swimming has just been such an incredible foundation to work with. They have given so much to me over my career, and I obviously would not be where I am today without them, and the experiences that I've had a part of USA Swimming have been amazing. I've traveled the world, I've made the most incredible friends, represented my country on an international stage, and so being able to give back to them and being able to hopefully share the love that I have for swimming and what an amazing sport I think it is, it would be incredibly important to me.
Thank you for giving your time.
Missy Franklin has some interesting perspective on business and life. Next up, media ethicist Kelly McBride. Sports professor Rick Horrow, Beyond the Scoreboard. Speak with you in a minute.
Attention, if you've had hip replacement surgery and suffered any complications, you need to listen to this important legal alert. Major manufacturers have made billions of dollars available to award legal claims for defective hip implants. Thousands of these defective hip implants have been recalled by various manufacturers. If you've had hip surgery and suffered complications, you may be entitled to receive significant compensation to help you deal with your complications. You may be eligible to receive money to help with medical expenses, lost wages, and pain and suffering. Protect yourself by hiring an experienced trial attorney. Our partner law firms are experts in hip replacement surgery lawsuits. Find out now if you're eligible to receive any of the $2.5 billion hip settlement fund. Call now for free information. 800-296-1360. 800-296-1360. 800-296-1360. That's 800-296-1360.
And insurance paperwork. Shipping is free. Receive a free catheter sample by calling and joining Medical Direct Club right now. Call 1-800-399-9018 to receive your free catheter sample discreetly delivered right to your door. That's 1-800-399-9018. 1-800-399-9018. Call 1-800-399-9018 today. Deductibles and copays apply. Free catheter samples require qualified membership. Sample will arrive with 90-day order.
Don't complain about your cable bill going up and up and up. Do something about it. Grab a pencil and jot down this special number.
Call 877-499-MY-TV.
The more cable TV rates go up, the better digital satellite TV looks. So cancel the cable and get more of your favorite channels in 100% digital quality for less money.
Call 877-499-MY-TV.
Right now to sign up for packages starting as low as $24.99, and there's no equipment to buy. You get free HD TV upgrade, a free DVR upgrade, and free professional installation. You control what you watch when you watch it. Record your favorite shows. Pause and rewind live TV. Even skip the commercials. Watch local channels too. At just $24.99, what are you waiting for? Pull out your major credit or debit card.
Call 877-499-MY-TV. That's 877-499-MY-TV.
Cancel the cable, cut costs, and get more.
Call now, 877-499-MY-TV. That's 877-499-MY-TV.
Sports professor Rick Horrow, Beyond the Scoreboard, the serious show that doesn't take itself too seriously. Women's edition, Kelly McBride, a media ethicist, VP of the Poynter Institute, an organization designed to look at just that. She's the lead ESPN ombudsman and co-author of The New Ethics of Journalism and Significant Issues, Social Media, and How Its Blogging and Reporting May Cross the Line. Kelly McBride.
I like to say we make democracy safe for journalism, and sometimes we make journalism safe for democracy. We work with journalism organizations and individual journalists the world over to enhance their leadership skills, their digital skills, their story writing skills, and we work with organizations to fine-tune the work that they do so that they can connect with their audience in a significant way. Personally, I came to Poynter as a media ethicist 15 years ago, and I'm still a media ethicist. I, as part of that role, spent 18 months as the lead ombudsman for ESPN. and that is my baptism in the world of sports. And right now, in addition to being an ethicist at Poynter, I'm the vice president for academic programs, which means I oversee all of our curricular offerings for professional journalists.
Are you an ombudsman or an ombudswoman? What is the correct grammar to describe your role?
I actually hate that word. I prefer fan representative. ESPN says it serves fans, and when it's taking itself seriously, it has someone in the role to explain some of the hard choices that ESPN has to make.
We will deal next week on the panels and probably call you an ombudsperson unless you have some.
Okay, I can deal with that.
You can deal with that one. So, the whole industry, obviously, and as it's morphed, and as the line between, let's say, print and blogging and people who are perceived as writers and bloggers, and the traditional ethical line, it's blurred a bit. And obviously, as the money dominates, that becomes more significant in this world. It permeates. You've had your experience now as the ESPN person, and you see that there is a pretty interesting approach from the business perspective on how to draw that line. We'll talk about that for both days next week, but give me your kind of overall sense of what the trend looks like and where things are going in this area.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
hard question. I know, understand. But
obviously the world of sports media has exploded in volume and size. There are so many more products that create information for fans out there than there used to be because of the internet and because of the mobile environment and because there seems to be an insatiable appetite. I mean, remember when ESPN started and we were all like, wow, 24 hours sports, who's going to consume that? And when we laugh at that now, but it was true. We actually said that out loud. We weren't sure there was a really good business model there. And I think it's because we underestimated the depth of appetite that fans would have for information. So you throw the economic realities over that there is a lot of money in professional sports, in college sports, and in worldwide sports as well, not just professional sports in America. And there is a significant play on attention for fans, and as so the average fan still has the same amount of attention that he had back in 1975 before the internet was conceived. So that fan has that same amount of attention, and all of these new players are competing for that guy's attention, and they're doing increasingly audacious things to get that guy's attention. And they're doing this because they want to tell him good stories, and they're doing this because they want to manipulate him into buying something or spending money in some way or becoming more of a fan of this sport and less of a fan of another sport. They're doing it for lots of different reasons, and those reasons are both good and bad. And it's very hard for the fan to sort out what the motive of the creator of a piece of content, what that person's motive is. And so it creates this really messy environment where you have people who are well-intentioned, and you have people who are clearly badly intentioned, and you have some people who have both good and bad intentions, and it, there's lots and lots of conflicts of interest and competing loyalties.
Kelly McBride, VP Academic Programs, Chief Ombudswoman for ESPN now. Listen, the bottom line,
not now, used to be.
Used to be, yes, used to be, and obviously the organization with a significant role in all of these media areas. The bottom line as well is that there is a mainstream orientation to this now when there wasn't before, or there wasn't as much before. What put this issue front and center to the American consumer? Was it how TMZ chased the NFL and the Ray Rice, not good or bad, but the facts? Was it also that there is a proliferation of a blogosphere that is not made up of accredited journalists? What do you think? What do you think are the biggest issues that made this a visible issue for the mainstream?
So, I mean, let me start by just describing what happened to the mainstream as all of these voices started to proliferate. You can look at TMZ or Deadspin as sort of newcomers into the sports information world. And one of the things that they did is they said, screw the authorities. We are going to cover the stories that we see most interest in, and even to take a tabloid approach to those stories. So in a way, what they did was they called bull. I almost did it, but I didn't.
That's all right.
They called BS.
I find that ironic that we may have to 7-second delay you, but go ahead.
They called BS on the mainstream media, and they said the fact that you don't dig into a story like the one about Manti Te'o, or you don't necessarily look at the fact that Brett Favre is sexually harassing someone, or you don't question the NFL and its reaction to Ray Rice. Like, that's good for journalism when that happens, because then the mainstream has to step up and say, oh, right, maybe we are too worried about losing access. And I don't ever hear in the mainstream people say, oh, we're afraid that if we challenge the NFL on concussions that we'll lose access. Nobody actually says that. It's a self-censorship, and it's also once you're so far inside the system, you can't even see the big picture. So coming from the outside, these outsiders have had a really good effect in that way. Now, they've also had, like, did you have to run the photo of Brett Favre's penis? I'm not sure that was critical to the journalism that was being done. So they've also brought a tabloidy feel to sports journalism and oversimplification to a lot of the work that some would describe as a race to the bottom. So the effect has been good and bad.
Does this kind of process lead to a standard, an increased awareness? Now, what comes out of more discourse in this area?
Well, I suspect that we will start identifying best practices, and then a certain number of players in this field will embrace and adopt those best practices because they believe in doing the right thing and in serving the audience in a way that brings integrity and credibility to the work that they do. But not everybody will do that. I mean, there used to be, for better or for worse, a much more widely accepted ethos of how you do sports marketing and sports information than and it was widely accepted because there were just fewer people doing it, and so it was easy to get consensus. Now it's a very noisy, raucous space, and you're never going to get even critical mass around certain best practices. But what you will find is that best practices emerge and good people embrace them, and then that leaves the onus on the consumer, the information consumer, to figure out who is embracing these best practices and how does that affect the information that I get and the discourse that I enter into. And the consumers then decide which type of information they want to consume.
It ultimately sounds like, I'm old enough to remember, that the tabloid choices of supermarket shoppers 20, 30 years ago transposed into the electronic media.
Well, let's remember to be sensitive about what we read, what we tweet, what we blog, what we receive, and what we see from traditional journalists. It's not all the same. Next up, a basketball player with many business dimensions, Sue Bird. Rick Horrow, sports professor, Beyond the Scoreboard. Speak with you in a minute.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for prescription drugs? Well, we have great news. Now you can finally get prescription drugs at huge discounts from Canada Drug Center. That's right, the most popular drugs for cholesterol, high blood pressure, depression, diabetes, arthritis, and many more are now up to 75% off. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices when you can get brand name drugs at the lowest price? Call today and get up to 75% off all the popular brand name prescription drugs. Never pay high prices again. Get the most popular drugs at huge savings from our Canadian and international pharmacies and fulfillment centers. No insurance? No problem. Prices are so low you do not need benefits or insurance to get all your prescriptions fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting to take your call now. Order today and get free shipping. Just call 800-950-1180. Up to 75% off all the popular brand name prescription drugs and free shipping. Call 800-950-1180. That's 800-950-1180.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 877-663-7126 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 877-663-7126 to take your call now. Call 877-663-7126. That's 877-663-7126. Again, 877-663-7126.
Rebuild or replace transmission, $3,200. Anti-lock brake system, $1,000. Rebuild or replace engine, $2,400. Truth is, once your manufacturer's warranty runs out, it's all on you. Every last cent. Get protection for covered repairs with a vehicle service contract from Toco Warranty. Unlike other companies, with Toco, there's no down payment, and the monthly payments are really affordable. Not sure how long you're keeping your car? At Toco, you can pay as you go. Keep your hard-earned cash and call Toco Warranty right now at 800-222-2313 to save big money on covered auto repairs. Prices vary by vehicle, but for about the cost of a tank of gas per month, a Toco plan has your back on expensive covered car repairs. Monthly payments are very affordable. Get your free quote now. Call Toco at 800-222-2313. That's 800-222-2313. 800-222-2313. Cancellation fee may apply, subject to eligibility. Not available in Missouri and Washington. Waiting period and deductible apply. Coverage provided and administered by Warrantech Corporation or its affiliates. Not affiliated with any manufacturer or dealership. Visit TocoWarranty.com for complete terms and conditions.
Rick Horrow, sports professor, Beyond the Scoreboard, the serious show that doesn't take itself too seriously. Fresh off of a UConn 4-year sweep, 75 wins in a row. Breanna Stewart, the MVP, 4 straight years. And all of the UConn players on hand to celebrate the iconic Gina Auriemma. Sue Bird, Olympic gold medalist, WNBA All-Star with Seattle Storm, and obviously the national champ during UConn's significant and substantial dominance. Sue Bird.
But most of these
women need to worry about their current finances, not just the future. How does that play out?
Well, we're really lucky that there's leagues in Europe. Yeah. I mean, that's where most of us, I would say a large percentage of us, make most of our money. I mean, in the WNBA, don't get me wrong, what we make for 4 to 5 months is nothing to complain about. Now, you're not going to necessarily live on it, but for that, again, so it gives us that opportunity to play in Europe in the winter.
Interesting dynamic. Nothing to complain about, but you really can't live on it, which is true for most.
It's kind of like, in a ways, it's like some side job.
Yeah, well, but it's an exciting side job. And it's a fun
very
side
exciting.
job.
Very exciting.
Commiserate with the soccer players. I mean, they seem to be in the same financial situation as well.
Yeah, it's actually, so basketball and soccer, to me, the comparisons are so fascinating because in a lot of ways, we have more financial opportunity, but they're clearly more popular. So it's this weird thing. It's like it doesn't really match, but yeah, there's definitely similarities there. Trying to make a living playing a pro sport as a female in America is not easy.
Well, we can't hold a bake sale for you because we can't do that under our protocol.
Okay.
But this is an incredibly high demographic show, so if you want to give us your address, we can just start throwing money at you.
I would mind.
Yeah, I'm sure you would. Any jealousy with the female tennis players, golfers?
No. I respect what they do, and there's an interest there. There's reasons. It's like there's no jealousy from people. Always ask about NBA. They're making all that money. No, there's a reason why they're making that money because they're actually making that money for their owners. They have sponsors. They're on TV. All this stuff, and we're only 20 years in. I mean, the WNBA is only 20 years in, so we got time.
So you respect the pioneering of Val Ackerman and others
Absolutely.
Who built the league to where it is.
Absolutely.
Where's it going?
I think we're still in a position, I do think we're close, but we're still in a position where we need to figure out what works for us. So for so long, our league was based on what the NBA did. We followed their model to a T, our free agency, the locations of our teams, the rules. And I still think we need to figure out what works for us because in all reality, it is a different game. I know it's the same game, but it is a different game.
When you think about just devil's advocate on that position from a business perspective, if you didn't have the summer synergy in the NBA arenas with the NBA owners, you might not even be here today. So you've got to build the respect the foundation, I guess.
Oh, of course. But that doesn't mean we have to copy their business plan in terms of the actual game itself.
Yeah.
Because, again, it's different games. But, I mean, part of playing in the summer is playing in the summer is part of the problem.
Yeah. Fan base, any issues on a perception that's a gay fan base? I mean, how do we deal with that?
I mean, I don't know how you conquer perceptions. It's a tough one to get around. The thing that I find most interesting about WNBA and the fan base and the numbers and the turnout, it's when if you're on a team that makes the playoffs and is trying to get that championship, is vying for it, they come out. I mean, those arenas are packed at the end of the year, which tells you these fans exist. Yes. We're just what we have to figure out is how to bridge it so they come throughout the regular season as well. Do you know what I mean? Because they're there. No matter who makes it. It's like Tulsa right now, I want to say, actually Dallas. They were probably last in the league in attendance. But I guarantee you if they made the championship series, those people would come out. Like, they're there. We just got to get them to come consistently.
Winning conquers all, but we also understand that mathematically it's impossible for two teams to win the same game. Yeah, and so then how do you deal with it? And I guess part of the issue is, do the WNBA superstars, do you have an active role in determining the marketing strategy of the league going forward?
Yes and no. We have a union, and we have a voice, but it comes down to like one voice. All these players come down to one voice in the big room of the bigwigs, if you will. The owners and the GMs and the people at the league office. So,
but in theory, you should be the voice that's most in touch with the grassroots.
I mean, in theory, yeah. In theory, and I think we are. And again, like, we do have a voice. It's just it doesn't. Sometimes you don't necessarily get heard.
The pipeline, a young 10-year-old, 12-year-old. If I have a young 10-year-old, 12-year-old boy, I'm going to put a ball in his left hand, and I'm going to say, learn a curveball. I don't care if it breaks your arm yet, because look at the money.
Right.
What does a 10 or 12-year-old girl do to play basketball or soccer versus tennis or golf?
Yeah, so actually, it's interesting you bring this up. Just recently, I was talking to some of the coaches at Connecticut, and from what I understand, what they've told me, they're actually losing tall athletes, to volleyball. And it's just something that kids are playing more volleyball, I guess, that tall athlete versus basketball. Maybe because it's non-contact, whatever the case may be. So why would I want them to play basketball versus the other sports?
Yeah.
I mean, first of all, to me, team sports is way better. You learn way more. And let's be honest, the same thing we said for male sports. It's only a small percentage that are going to make it, right? It's only a small percentage that can build a career on this. So you want to learn things as a kid and gain these attributes that are going to help you. And to me, team sports, I mean, I see it now that I'm older and I'm kind of like venturing into the real world. Mm-hmm. I see all the things I learned by working with different people throughout my career and being on different teams and trying to figure out how to make things work. I totally see those values. I see them coming out.
Has Title IX made has and will Title IX continue to make the progress it needs to?
Yeah, I mean, the way I look at Title IX is I don't really feel the need to talk about it in terms of how it affected my life, and that should be a compliment because I always had opportunities. I never had to fight for the opportunity. It was always there. It was.
But you're that, right? I mean, in terms of percentage.
I mean more, but like my age. I think people my age growing up. Yeah. There was the only time I had to play on a boys soccer team because the girls soccer team was like not that good. It wasn't challenging enough, I guess. So I had to play on a boys soccer team when I was in like 6th, 7th grade. But other than that, I always had teams to play on. I always had opportunity. And to me, Title IX represents opportunity, giving little girls opportunity. So again, I take it as a compliment that Title IX wasn't part of my daily conversation.
How do we get more corporate endorsers of women's sports generally?
I think the thing to me about women's sports and particularly women's basketball is there are certain perceptions and there are certain outlooks on it, and that can all be swiped away if you just come to a game, if you check it out, if you look into it. And I can't even, it's like people who talk trash on women's basketball, and for whatever reason, it's very popular to do that. It's not enough to not like it. You have to rip it to shreds. Okay, fine, whatever.
How about the fact that you guys play better defense than the guys? What about that?
We try harder.
You try harder, right?
No, our game's different.
Yeah, it is.
But I think people just have this notion that, you play below the rim. Oh, it's boring. But those same people have never been to a game. Yeah. And that to me is mind-blowing. So it's coming to a game. I think the same can go for sponsors. And if you come to a game and you see what it's all about, I guarantee you'll come back.
How important is social media in the world of convincing sponsors that's part of activation?
I mean, it is important. Yeah. As much as you may not want to be. To be honest, I was very anti-social media at first. I was like, I don't get it.
Do you tweet?
But I mean, sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I didn't get Twitter until 2013.
Did you tweet like what you had for lunch today, that kind of stuff?
Yeah, so that, I'm like, why do people care? Why?
Yeah.
But
because everybody does it,
right.
is the answer. Right.
Exactly. Yeah. But I do understand that it has a place in society because it's clearly proven that. Yeah. I mean, it's clearly important. And I mean, it's no secret that there will be sponsors who will look at your followers and the amount of people that follow you, and that'll determine whether or not they want to partner.
All right, Sue Bird, after basketball, what are we doing?
What are we doing? So I've done some ESPN commentating as of late, last 2 years or so. Yeah. And it's grown on me. I really start to like it. It's tough. It's a lot harder than people think, but I'm enjoying it. So that could be part of it. I always say I don't know if I want to coach. I think that'd be hard. But it's more to the lifestyle of a coach, not necessarily the actual act of coaching.
Who succeeds Gino after he retired?
Oh man, I don't know. I feel bad for whoever it is though.
Yeah, so it's not.
Who wants that job?
Won't be you.
Hell no.
That's very interesting.
Have you been to stores? No way.
Yeah, got it. What about the business of women's sports generally? Would you make a difference? The Women's Sports Foundation. Is there any interest for you to be involved in any of that?
So where I feel most passionate in terms of the women's business side of things, I think it's the product part of it. Yeah. So in terms of, we talked about, I think we base a lot of what we did on the NBA, which was great. And like you mentioned, we needed a starting place. But now I think we're at a point where we need to figure out what works best for us. So I think if I were to get involved in that world, it would be more about the product we're putting out there and trying to make it better, trying to make the in-game experience better, our game itself better, and then move from there to attract people.
As you keep playing, do you think about life after basketball more and more, or do you kind of use that out?
Yeah, I mean, who wants to
every shot you miss? It's
right? One step closer to the grave. Yeah. But who wants to be? I don't want to be the person that finishes one career and then is like, oh, now what am I going to do? Yeah, you don't want to be that. So you got to set yourself up. So some of the ESPN stuff I've done, that's been dipping my toe in the water, seeing how it feels, so I can make those decisions when I am done.
What does Sue Bird do 5 years from now?
5 years from now?
Team ownership?
No.
Okay.
Team ownership?
No.
I don't have the money for that.
Well, remember we're starting a campaign very quickly.
Yeah,
we'll see how quickly that happens.
Can I pay it in rubles?
Yeah, rubles.
I might have enough for
rubles. The Nets owner, maybe. Rubles. 5 years from now.
5 years from now, again, I really have enjoyed this commentating thing. Unfortunately, I actually have invested in a bunch of restaurants, 3 in Boston, matter of fact, which was just a childhood friend that wanted to do it, and they're a success, and 2 of Coach Auriemma's restaurants. So I bring that up just to say, not that I want to get into it more, but it's given me a little bit of a cushion in terms of making money where I don't think I'll feel the pressure of immediately having to do something just for the money. So I can kind of figure my way out. But hopefully by year 5 of my post-basketball life, I will have figured it out.
Well, if it's year 5 and we're still talking about that and the restaurants are still in place, you realize you've done something that maybe 85% of the people have not done, is run a series of successful restaurants.
I've been really lucky. I mean, you never know what's going to happen. I mean, Coach Auriemma's was kind of a no-brainer.
Right.
He has one at Mohegan.
Yeah, clearly.
Yeah, so you knew those. But yeah, my friend in Boston, he's done a great job, and we got very lucky. And we're going to stop at 3, though. See how it goes.
Everybody says they'll stop at 3 and they end up at 8 or 9.
No,
we'll see
I
what
think
happens.
his wife is going to make him stop
really
at 3.
going to stop at 3.
Yeah.
So here's UConn and the image and the legacy. You have a kinship and camaraderie with everybody, right? I mean, what's it like to reflect back on that?
Man, if I knew the way it's all played out, that going to Connecticut was going to be the best decision I ever made in my entire life at the age of 17. I mean, how can you? But it was. It 100% was. I mean, the family that you have built in, the friends, to feel at home when you go back to a place, I can't explain what that's like, and to just to be a part of that. And it's obviously grown. And I mean, it's huge now compared to what it was when I went to school. But to know you're a part of it and all these people. I mean, some of my closest friends are, yes, players that played at UConn, but not even in my 4 years. Not even in my era. It's like younger or older, So it's just... It's very unique, and obviously I've been around women's basketball a lot to know that I don't know that a lot of schools are like that.
Are the memories getting better? Are you embracing them now? Do you understand how important that era and what you've done is for basketball, women, etc.?
Yeah, it's starting to, I think, kick in. I mean, it's really the 95 team that, I mean, when you think about women's basketball and you think about where it is now, how it got there, I mean, it's the combination of course, the Olympic team in 96, but also that UConn 95 team. I mean, that was, who would have thought, right? Like, just so pivotal, and a year later, 2 professional leagues are formed, and the WNBA is the one that has lasted. So I'm just kind of on the coattails of that. I mean, I entered college 98, so, I was definitely, we were kind of, I think my class, my little era, Diana included, her class, we kind of helped maybe keep it where it was, where that 95 team put it.
Do you enjoy the business of sports? Do you deal with your own bookkeeping and accounting? Do you know what's going on?
Yeah, I stay aware. Yeah, I don't like to, part of it's probably a little bit OCD, but I like to have my hands on when it comes to my life, right? Like, I don't want somebody else booking my flight. Like, I want to book my own flight. Something as small as that.
Like you lived everything in your life.
Yeah.
5 years from now, we're coming back, and you're going to have 10 restaurants, and you're going to look back on these titles. It's going to be bigger than ever. Thanks.
Thanks so much.
Okay. Rick Horrow, sports professor, 3 women in sports, 3 different business activities. On to Bust, Boom, and Hope, coming up right after the break.
We all know healthcare has changed drastically. It's quite the puzzle to sort through your options and find a health insurance plan that's affordable and maximizes your benefits. And you're now required by law to have health insurance, or you may pay a tax penalty. So let the Health Markets Insurance Agency help you. They offer plans from over 120 different companies and can even help you obtain government subsidies. Let them do all the research for you and show you how affordable health insurance can be, a service that's at no extra cost to you. Call now and learn your options to find affordable health insurance. 800-614-1242. 800-614-1242, 800-614-1242, 800-614-1242. Health Markets Insurance Agency is a DBA or assumed name of Insphere Insurance Solutions, Inc., which is a licensed insurance agency in all 50 states and D.C. Not all agents are licensed to sell all products. Service availability varies by state.
Attention, if you've had hip replacement surgery and suffered any complications, you need to listen to this important legal alert. Major manufacturers have made billions of dollars available to award legal claims for defective hip implants. Thousands of these defective hip implants have been recalled by various manufacturers. If you've had hip surgery and suffered complications, you may be entitled to receive significant compensation to help you deal with your complications. You may be eligible to receive money to help with medical expenses, lost wages, damages and pain and suffering. Protect yourself by hiring an experienced trial attorney. Our partner law firms are experts in hip replacement surgery lawsuits. Find out now if you're eligible to receive any of the $2.5 billion hip settlement fund. Call now for free information. 800-296-1360. 800-296-1360. 800-296-1360. That's 800-296-1360.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 877-663-7126 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 877-663-7126 to take your call now. Call 877-663-7126. That's 877-663-7126. Again, 877-663-7126.
Sports Professor Rick Horrow, Beyond the Scoreboard, serious show that doesn't take itself too seriously, but with $1 trillion sports business, it's hard not to. And after a significant entry into all aspects of sports this week, it's time for our normal segment of Bust, Boom, and Hope. The good, the bad, and the hopeful in the economy. We start with bust. Maybe bad. Augusta, Georgia isn't Park Place. The February median home sales price about $147,000, $60,000 less than the national average. Come Masters Week, however, the town becomes a hotbed of high-priced real estate, a boom for local residents. Pricey consideration for any golf fan checking the Masters off his bucket list. But Augusta's 108 properties, 75% booked for the tournament by the end of March and 100% booked by the time it happened, according to Expedia. La Quinta Inn in Augusta, for example, a half mile from the golf course, $534 per night, compared with $55 1 month later, the exact same room. Bust maybe for the price, but certainly boom economically. Speaking of boom, Las Vegas's newest attraction opened, T-Mobile Arena. The state-of-the-art arena played host to the Killers, Wayne Newton, Shamir, and over 20,000 fans in its opening night. Designed by Populous, T-Mobile Arena, a joint venture between MGM Resorts and AEG. The largest arena capacity is all of Vegas looking forward to attracting the NHL or NBA team to the city. Obviously, one of the most significant arenas. Now the NBA and NHL's turn to see if they want to have a tenancy in it. And finally, hope. Noting its widespread reach to sports fans and its international presence, the NFL chose Twitter for its Thursday Night Football streaming package. Contrary to most deals nowadays, they didn't win the rights by offering the most money to the league. Brian Rolap, the EVP, said, "We had other things we wanted to accomplish here. We wanted to bring in a new audience. We wanted to make it complementary to television and not disruptive." The successful shift toward mobile streaming of NFL games was first seen this past year. Yahoo streaming the Bills versus Jaguars. Twitter tries to emulate and expand on Yahoo's success in streaming's NFL debut. That's our show for this week. We'd like to thank Missy Franklin, Kelly McBride, Sue Bird, all that listen, all that watch. Next week, once again, join us, please, when we go Beyond the Scoreboard.